Well, good morning. It was great to see so many people at the reception last night. Had a chance to visit again with customers and partners, as well as a lot of Rockwell employees. I'm also very happy to be back after a quite eventful year. Eventful for the company, for the world, and for me personally. I was just coming into this role when I talked to you a year ago, and I'm happy to say that we've had a lot more successes than setbacks over the last 12 months. The macroeconomic environment has been quite good. It's been strong, and we've certainly participated in that. We've benefited from a lot of new product releases. A lot of work that we've been doing for the last few years has come to fruition, and those products are making an impact on the market. And I also want to say one of the priorities I had as I came into this role was for us to pay more attention to the specific industries and applications that we serve along with our many partners. And that was done as a way to get more intimate with our customers' best opportunities for productivity. And I'm happy to say that we've made some changes for the better in that respect, and you'll continue to see that trend as we talk specifically about how we're increasing productivity for individual industries and applications. When we look at what's going on around the world that directly impacts our businesses, I want to highlight a few. First of all, and we've talked about this for some time, the growth of the middle class in emerging markets is having a big impact on our business as more people than ever before are looking for more choices in the products and the food that they buy. They're looking for clean water, of course. They're looking for safety in their workplace and in those products that they buy. And all of those trends, particularly in the consumer-facing industries, are a good thing for us because that's our home field. Those are the industries that we've been strong in for so long: food and beverage, automobile manufacturing, even life sciences, which is a little bit smaller than the others for us, but is actually our fastest growing, and a lot of that is powered by this macro trend. In some opposition to that is the continued growth of the skills gap, as many of the people who are the pioneers, and you're some of them, we're some of them in this room, are getting a little bit older and will be retiring in the next decade. And so how are we going to replace those workers who have that core knowledge of what has to happen on the factory floor to make things run? And that's going to be a combination of replacing that talent, but also changing the work. And that's some of what we're going to be talking about over the next few days. On the technology side, the convergence of IT and OT, information technology and operational technology, continues to pick up pace. And we'll certainly be talking in these sessions and in the breakouts about the technology aspects of that. But there's other large impacts of that convergence. It has to do with the way that our companies, as well as our customers' companies, organize differently. Because a lot of these challenges, when we talk about implementing the industrial Internet of Things, they're kind of tweeners. They don't fit cleanly into the IT organization or the operations organization. They also spur new business models. Certainly that's the case with Rockwell as we talk about information solutions and connected services, but we also see at our customers how they're organizing to try to maximize the opportunities that this new technology and this new way of looking things gives to them. So it's pretty broad-based. And then we also see, in terms of the implementation, the pervasive, the ease at which we can distribute computing throughout the technology stack, and the cost as it continues to go down in terms of communications, how that opens up new possibilities. So there's a lot of people around the world, not just us, who sense that there's something here, there's something big here. And that's why you see at a country level, you see programs that are sponsored by the governments themselves to try to get the edge on implementing this technology to make their own companies more productive and to grab that thought leadership. And so whether it's Industry 4.0 or it's China Manufacturing 2025 or Make in India, all these countries are looking at this as an opportunity. One of the good things for us is that finally, after many years, these countries are recognizing the importance of manufacturing and the multiplier effect. Not only is manufacturing in itself vitally important to a nation's economy and to its security, but these countries are also recognizing the multiplier effect of manufacturing, jobs that are indirectly spurred by a robust manufacturing economy. And so that's good for us because that's where we live. Even closer to home, what are manufacturers finding as they take those first steps towards realizing a connected enterprise or taking advantage of the industrial Internet of Things? Well, while we talk a lot about technology that's applicable horizontally across a wide variety of industries, we have to remember that everybody starts from a different place. Some of these industries as a whole are a little bit further along than others in terms of having the foundation to be able to take that data and turn it into information. But it's also important to recognize that you don't bring the connected enterprise to life unless you're able to describe and deliver the value in the specific language of that customer. So we can start with tools like Logix that are great for a variety of applications, but you have to bring it to life by being able to talk about that particular customer's best opportunity for saving money or time. The second point is that very little as a percentage of what we do are complete greenfields. Most of what we're doing is going into an existing installation and building from there and assessing what the foundation is. Do they have a pipeline for the data to come from their actual control processes? Is the starting point to actually put in those smart products and sensors right at the plant floor? Or does your customer already have that, or do you already have that, and you can start a little bit further down the path? There's an enormous installed base, much of it Rockwell, that we have to start with. That's the hand that we're dealt initially. And then finally, as we look at this greater connectivity, where everything can connect, everything has a port, wired or wireless on it, security is the first question and the last question as we go into these engagements. So we have to be able to talk about a defense in depth strategy for customers to be comfortable with the protection on their applications. What we have that's so powerful today is we're not just talking about the potential, we're talking about the outcomes that we and our partners have already delivered to customers. So whether it's reducing the non-value add manual work in a pharmaceutical company, or it's increasing flexibility at a big user like Ford, or helping a machinery builder be able to add flexibility to their packaging machines to give their users more choice, to be able to capture more shelf space in a grocery store, for instance. We're helping today by converging IT and OT to make them more productive and ultimately more competitive. Reducing unplanned downtime remains the killer app in this world. If you can reduce unplanned downtime yourself or for one of your customers, nothing drives a return on investment faster than that. And you can see some of the examples where we're doing that today. You're going to hear a lot over the next few days about how this comes together, how the combination of technology and application expertise makes this real and brings the connected enterprise to life. But I want to make sure that you take away from my comments with an appreciation that we're not just talking about the new stuff, the information software that sits high up in the stack or the connected services. It starts with those basic building blocks, the sensors, the electronic overloads, the variable frequency drives, and of course logics, those smart products right at level 0 and level 1, where the data is created as a natural byproduct of the control process and then is turned into useful information. And it's not just our smart products, and this is where the power of our partnerships is so strong. So we have partners here this week like Zebra Technologies with their barcode equipment and their printers that connect back through standard Ethernet, that have add-on profiles to be able to make configuration and data exchange even easier. Because no matter how much a customer loves Rockwell, they have non-Rockwell smart equipment on their plant floor, whoever they are. And so as we create that data path from such a diverse array of products right on the plant floor and create the ability to take that data up and to turn it into information, our value to end users becomes more and more important. And also, as we implement some of the scalability in terms of that computing and where the information is communicated, we can tailor the connected enterprise to what's most important for that specific application. That scalability is something that we've talked about for a long time, and the industry is recognizing with every day that goes by how important that is, that you don't need to send everything to the cloud first and then sift through it. You can perform a lot of the important operations right at the device or right at the edge. And again, we're achieving results today with those scalable solutions. So whether it's with the diagnostics and being able to help Great Lakes Brewing look at the health of their controlled devices with some of the solutions that we'll talk about here later this morning, whether it's working with Bradman Lake, a machinery builder out of the UK, to be able to apply the analytics to their high-end sensors, vision sensors, and so on, to be able to look at the overall health of their machine and to communicate that to the lines and the plants that they're installed with. Because they're trying to do many of the same things that we as the control supplier are trying to do. And when we work together rather than creating separate solutions, we're really powerful there. It makes it easy. It simplifies the process for the user to be able to achieve that connected enterprise. And then at the enterprise level, working with companies like First Solar, in that case we're partnering with Microsoft to be able to create a gateway, to be able to provide the most effective possible path for data to go from the plant floor of their multiple facilities up to the cloud in this case. We're making it happen today. So most of the next few days is going to be spent talking about great business solutions and the way that we enable additional productivity from our customers through the technology and through the people. I want to take just a minute to mention Rockwell's deeply committed to another area, and that is to be a strong citizen in the communities within which we work, where our partners work, and also to do our part to preparing that next generation of young people to be fully confident in the technology-driven world that they're going to grow up in. So we remain a really strong partner of FIRST Robotics. We support a variety of STEM-related programs for education, K through 12 and beyond. We're working in one particular area that you may have read about with the Department of Defense on their Advanced Tissue Biofabrication initiative. And we were brought into that program because of our understanding of how to bring technology to scale and to automate it, to take it from the world of art into science and to make it repeatable. And then finally, an ongoing commitment to workforce development. And workforce development for me involves three main areas, three main principles. It's the lifelong learning, and certainly our commitment to FIRST is a big part of that, because no matter how much we know when we first get out of school, how bright we are, how effective we are, if we don't have the opportunity to learn at venues like this and others throughout the course of our careers, which 40 years is not unusual, then we're going to become less effective, and our people are going to become less effective. And so that lifelong learning principle is absolutely essential. Outcome-based training. So being able to train in ways that have demonstrated the ability to make us and our people more effective in their jobs. And then partnerships between learning centers, whatever they are, universities, tech schools, and other, and the manufacturers, so that we as manufacturers can say, here's what we're hiring. That close interconnection is absolutely important, and you'll hear more about that this week, both at this event and also in the media. So we remain committed to that, and it's a part of who Rockwell is and will be in the future. Finally, I want to leave you with a really simple plan as you're thinking about, so how do I take the next steps? How do I help my customers take their next steps in bringing the connected enterprise to life? The starting point is to understand enough about your business to recognize where are the main opportunities for productivity. Don't go out with the technology in search of a problem. Think about where you're losing money, where you're losing time, and start there. So identify those locations that represent your best opportunities for increased productivity. Get some outside perspective. It always helps, even if it's within your own company. When Rockwell started down the path of applying production center in our own plants, our operations people went to our architecture and software businesses to talk about, hey, we're thinking about this. What do you suggest? What have you seen out there? And many of you will turn to third parties to get some help. Who's done this before? I think that's always helpful. The next step, and it seems trivial, but it's where we've seen companies go wrong, assemble the team, and assemble that team carefully, because remember, as I said before, the success in addressing these challenges often spans multiple functional groups within a given company. Within our own organization, we've got the pure technology. We've got the services business, which is not a great place to develop new products, but is absolutely essential towards bringing together the expertise to apply these products. And so it is with many of our customers. So putting that team together, having really solid project management is absolutely essential. You will not be successful if you don't have good project management, or your customer doesn't have good project management as they enter into these projects. Start small. Don't start by taking a leap of faith and ripping and replacing across multiple facilities around the world. Take a project that can be measured in months, not years, and doesn't cost millions and millions and millions of dollars, to be able to have a clear idea of what success looks like, implement a pilot, take a step back, make corrections, because new technology is constantly being released, new opportunities for productivity, even in those pilots, will emerge during the course of actually executing that pilot, and then go forward and scale so that you can fully realize the benefits across the entire fleet or across the entire enterprise. And so you're going to hear some ideas that go a step or two below that in terms of how customers have actually implemented, but I think this basic flow of what to consider has been a common thread as we've seen what the successful early pilots have done. So once again, as I introduce Frank Kulishewicz, I am thrilled to be here. I am thrilled that we have record attendance, such a large mix of customers and partners and Rockwell people, and looking forward to all of us learning something over the next few days. So thank you very much.